sure we have everyone. All right, I want to make sure I honor your time, so I am going to jump into this. If at any point you guys have questions, feel free to throw them into the chat. My name is Nick Hoover. I am the Parent and Teacher Success Manager here at Boddle, which means if you have any questions once you've started using the game, your students have gotten on the game, you can reach out to me, Nick at bottleLearning.com. I'm here to help, answer questions, whatever you need. If you've messaged us through the website, you might have also already spoken with me. That's what I'm here to do, is to help you guys and make this as easy as possible for you. Once again, if you have questions, throw them into the chat. Edna is here. She's going to be able to answer those questions as we sort of move along to kind of give you an overview of what we're going to do. I don't know if it's going to take the full 30 minutes, but what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about Boddle. I want to show you a couple of things. We're going to walk through the teacher panel, and then we're going to walk through the game a little bit so you can kind of see what that looks like. And if you have any questions that pop up at all while we're going through, throw it into the chat and we'll make sure to answer it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. Hopefully most of you have already created an account. If you saw the webinar mentioned, you already have logged in. So hopefully you've gotten started, or maybe your kids have already gotten started. So some of this you might have already seen. Hopefully we give you some new information today. So first, let me talk a little bit about Boddle. So the best part about Boddle is that it's adaptive learning, which means that as your kids are working through it, your students are going through it, they're answering questions, it's seeing how they're answering the questions, how long it's taking them to answer the questions, and it's changing which questions that it gives them based on that. And that's the best part about it. You don't have to worry about that every single kid's getting every single exact same question. It's adapting the platform so that the kids are able to get what works best for them. It's, of course, very interactive. It's 3D gameplay. Our AI is the thing that makes it where the questions change based on the kid. And the biggest thing is it's personalized. So like I just said, kids get to use it. And their screen's not going to look like everybody else's screen. One thing I like a lot about Boddle is that when your students are logged in, they might even be working on different grade levels. And there's no way for the students to know because the game's going to look exactly the same for all of them. So there won't be anything about, oh, well, you're at this low level and you're at this high level. It looks the same to everybody, which I think is a huge benefit of it. The two big components, of course, are the parent educator platform and the game. So we'll look at both of those today so you can kind of see how they interact with each other. We've talked about how it makes the learning level, it changes the learning level based on the gaps that they have. It has phenomenal reports that make it very easy for you to find out where the gaps are and for you to be able to pinpoint those either with assignments through Boddle, or you're able to make small groups, or pull the kid up and do a really quick one-on-one because Boddle tells you that maybe they have a gap there. So that's another great benefit. It's fun and engaging. We always hear from the students how much they love it. They love the games. They love the characters. They, of course, love buying things for those characters. And we're constantly improving that and adding and changing the games to keep them engaged. I've talked about it already being personalized and tailored to each student. And then, of course, the lessons. We'll talk a little bit about that they're able to watch the videos in case they need help with a lesson so that they don't get stuck. Instructional help, they can write on it, text-to-speech is available, instructional videos. We try to put in as much support as possible so that the student is able to answer the question on their own. They don't have to raise their hand and call you over. You don't have to help them through it. They're able to use the resources that are already there to answer it. And that's a big thing for us because we know you have a classroom full of kids, or maybe you're working remote right now and all of your kids are at home and it's really hard for you to reach out to all of them. And then, of course, the bonus games. So in case you didn't know, if your kids haven't started the game already, we have something we call the 3-streak system, which means kids, when they answer 3 questions correct, they get to play a mini game. And what we've realized from that is that it really motivates them to answer those questions correctly. They really want to get those 3 right so they can play the game at the end, and that constantly pushes them to get that right answer versus just sort of clicking through. They have to get it correct to be able to play the game at the end, and I think that makes a big difference for kids. It's for kindergarten through 6th grade. We will be adding other grade levels. Right now it's just K through 6 math. Eventually there'll be more grade levels, there'll be more subjects, but for right now we're focusing on K through 6 math. We'll talk about the real-time reports. You can sign up for email notifications. You can get your parents linked to it, so they're getting email notifications. You can create all of your assignments in it. They could do all their homework through Boddle based on the areas that they're struggling in. And it, of course, automatically grades it for you and makes it simple for you. And it just makes it really easy if you're remote at the moment, and even when you go back to class, to sort of monitor exactly where they're at. And the other very important thing is it works on Chromebooks. We have an app. I'm going to show you that page here in a moment. We recently launched the app in January, so you, of course, can use the app. Currently, it does not work the best on the web browser on the iPads. We are working to get that fixed as soon as possible. Of course, we'll email you guys. We'll let you know if that changes. But for right now, laptops, Chromebooks, and then if you're using iPads, which I know a lot of you guys are, you're going to want to download the app for sure. And then this is just sort of a wrap up. That's me, of course. Sort of who Boddle is, where Boddle's headed. But I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because I want to jump into the game. So what I want to show you guys is a couple of different things. And let me go to the screen.
While you're going over there, Nick, hey everybody, it's Edna here. I just want to make sure that we're also, steering the conversation to answer any areas that you would love for us to focus on. So love that Nick is going to go into the game to show you that part, and then a lot of the teacher tools as well that we hear from teachers that, oh, they didn't realize we're there. We'll dig into that so you'll get comfortable. But would love for you to put in the chat if there's any specific area that you wanted to see, like whether it was a general overview or game specific or teacher portal specific.
Yes, awesome point. So I'm on our main website, bottleLearning.com. So the few things I want to go over before we get into it so that I don't forget, you of course can click right here at the top to download the app, and you're able to do that. I'm hoping you're able to see, here's the screen for it to be able to download that. Two other things I want to tell you about so we don't forget when we get wrapped up into answering questions. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel. So you can get to the YouTube channel. The fastest way is at the bottom of our website. You're able to click on the link. But on our YouTube channel, we have tons of instructional videos. And I don't know if everyone's aware of that they're there, but these are great to start a lesson, to wrap up a lesson, and to have them watch the Boddle characters before you get them started. So if you get a chance, when we're finished here, make sure you go check out our YouTube channel, because it has amazing instructional videos that are different than the ones that are in the game. So you're able to use these in lessons. You don't even have to be logged into Boddle to use them because they're all on YouTube. And then we just added or started to add them all to our Pinterest page. So if you're on Pinterest, we'd love for you to go find us, follow us. We've been uploading all of our videos. You can see they're all based on different topics. You're able to click on them and get to the YouTube videos if you'd like to do it that way, if you're more comfortable with Pinterest. So that's just another area I wanted to show you, and a great resource if you don't know about it already. But there's tons of videos over every topic. So that's really helpful in a lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. If you're on the main website, there's a couple of different ways. First, we're going to go in as a student, and then I'm going to talk about what it looks like as from the teacher side. So the different ways that you can log in as a student, you of course can go to bottleLearning.com, and they just click play the game. We'll do that here in a minute, and then log in as a student. They can go through the app, of course. They can also go to play.bottleLearning.com, and it goes directly to the login screen. So I'll show you. When you click that, they don't have to go through the website. They could just go to play.bottleLearning.com, and they're able to log in there. So at the very beginning, it is going to take a moment for it to load, and then you can follow it. It should take the longest there at the very beginning. If at any point you guys have any issues with loading, maybe it gets to 100% and it stops loading, reach out to us. Let us know as fast as possible, because we want to hear things like that so we can get them fixed and get your kids on the game. So they'll go to this page. It's just play.bottleLearning.com. Then you're going to log them in. They can type it in. Now, remember, if you haven't set up your username and passwords for your students, maybe you haven't uploaded all of them, we have lots of ways to do that. We'll talk about that here in a little bit when we look at the teacher panel. But you can have them go through Clever. You can have them go through Google Classroom. You can have them create a new account and give them a class code so you don't have to individually put all of them in if you don't have Google Classroom or Clever. So there's lots of ways to put all of your students into the program without actually having to type all of their names in. And we'll talk more about that. The other big thing is make sure you have them click Remember Me so they don't have to type it in every single time if they're going to have to, if they're not going to use Sign In with Google or Clever. So when they log in, if your students haven't done it already, they have to customize their Boddle, of course. So they get to pick what the head looks like. They get to pick the face. They get to pick the color of the body. And that's the very first thing that's going to happen the very first time they log in. It's not going to do that every time they log in, but it will do that the first time. And you just click Done. It's going to load their new Boddle into the game. So what's great about Boddle is that you guys don't have to do a lot of hand-holding with your students. So once they've logged into the game, we have a tutorial at the beginning that tells them everything they possibly need to know. Our male cat walks them through it. It tells them all about what they need to do, how they answer questions. So once your students get logged in, you can just let them start playing the game and they're going to be able to figure it out. What we also know is that kids play a lot of online games like this, so they're probably able to figure it out a lot faster than any of us. So you're able to go through, you can see he talks to them, he explains it all to them, shows them what they need to do. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. So this is what it'll look like when they log in. When they're ready to play the game, all they need to do is click this big green button and it'll get them started. So when they first start, you don't have to assign them anything. They don't have to have an assignment in there to get started. It's going to naturally start them on whatever their grade level is and start determining where they're at. So don't think that you have to create an assignment for them to be able to play. That's not the case. Now, if you do create an assignment, it is going to make that the priority. So versus just giving them questions over topics over their grade level, it's going to give them the assignment questions that you've assigned. But to start, you don't have to worry about that either. They're able to go right through the game with no assignment if needed. They will spend a lot of time. They're probably going to come over here. They're going to go in the house, in the wardrobe. They're going to look at the things that they can buy. That's always a huge part of it. We're always getting tons of feedback from students about what we should add, what they want to see. We need more clothes. We need more shirts. We need more things like that. I'm sure as teachers, you guys know that's the kids' favorite part. So they might spend a bit of time in there. One thing we are working on adding is the ability for you to block this so that they don't spend all of their time in there. So that's one thing that we're working on. So that's just where they first go to play the game. They can just click that arrow and it's going to log them in. We'll show you what that looks like real quick. It'll load for you. So it'll immediately start giving them questions. Again, these questions are either going to be based on their grade level or the assignment that you've given them. And we'll talk more about assignments in a moment. But once they get these questions, they can click on the pencil. They're able to write. If they need to show work, they're able to hear it read to them. I currently have it muted so you can't hear it, but it'll read it to them. And then they can also click this button right here and watch a video that's different numbers, but shows them how they're able to answer that question. So hopefully they're able to do all of those things before they raise their hand and need help from you guys. So you answer the questions. We really like this that gives a little build up to if they got it right or wrong. I got the question wrong. You can see that how it's trying to help me get it correct. And so it's letting me know that I didn't get it, and it gave me an explanation of why that is. And then moving on to the next question. And getting me out of my explanation. Give me a moment. And I can move on.
You click the little green arrow in the bottom right.
Oh, my screen was covering it. My Zoom screen was covering it. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you, Edna. So as you can see, we talked about the 3-streak system. So I got that one wrong. So I now have to still answer 3 questions to be able to move on. So this question is correct. They're trying to see if I did it right or not, building up anticipation. And now I'm on my way to my 3-streak system, or 3-streak reward is what I should be saying. And now I'm up to 2. Now, if they were working on an assignment, at the top, it would be showing them how far along they are in the assignment. So they would be able to see how much further they have to go on the assignment. And so that was 3 correct answers. And I'm going to show you what a little bit of the reward looks like, and then we'll look into the teacher panel. So the first time they play a game, you can see that it walks them through, shows them kind of how to do it. Hopefully they don't have any questions for you guys. And then they can play. And they have 45 seconds of gameplay after answering those 3 questions correct. So then they would go ahead and go through that, and they would play it. And that's how they could do that. So that's what the game looks like from the student's point of view. So I'm going to go ahead.
So that was the soccer mini game. It's a little, doing it through Zoom is a little glitchy, but we've got a basketball mini game, a cooking mini game, and we're excited because we're adding 3 additional mini games here in the next few months that will help to, keep things really engaging for your students.
Yes, we're hoping to add more, and we're really big on feedback. So, if your students have some really great ideas, some things they would like to see, what I normally tell teachers is maybe start a poster board where whenever they have an idea, you put it on a Post-it and you stick it up there. And you guys, of course, can then send it to me, and we have a running list. So we make sure that we add those things that kids are looking for. So please, if that helps, if they want to share it with us, we would love for to hear more about it. All right, so here I am in the teacher panel. Now to get to this, I was just on our main screen, boddlelearning.com, and you just click login as a teacher or a parent. So there's a teacher panel and there's also a parent one. So if you create an account for your students, you can link a parent account to it. And the benefit of that is that the parents are then able to see everything the kid does. They're able to sign up for emails, and they're able to receive how much time they spend on it, what areas they're low in, and that automatically happens. So it helps you from having to communicate all of that with parents. They're able to sign up and get those emails, which is pretty nice. When you first log in, it's going to walk you through creating your first class. It's going to walk you through adding your students and then getting started. So this is just a demo class. There's only 4 students in it. When you log in, you'll see all of your students. And I'm going to go through a couple of different things that are on this page. So a big question we get is about curriculum. So let's say you have a student who maybe needs to be on a grade level above or a grade level below. So you're able to just click here and you can change their curriculum. You can change all the students' curriculum if you like, but you're just going to click on the student or students you want to change, click, and then you'll go to the curriculum page and select which curriculum you would like to change it to, and it'll automatically change their grade level. And only you are able to do that, and that's just determined on what you're seeing based on what you have in your class. So that's how you would change their curriculum. Let's say you created username and passwords for all your students. You can click here and it will print out login pages for you to send home with them or to email to parents, however you would like to do that. If you want to view the student passwords, you're able to click here and see all of their passwords. We know very well that students are very quick to forget their passwords. So if you ever need to look it up, it's an easy way. The other way to do it is you can just go to their name and click on the key, and it's going to show you what their password is. So that's another way that you're able to do it. And then of course, you can always reset the password. Let's say somebody finds out someone else's and it needs to be changed, then you're able to reset the password as well. Let's say it's the middle of the school year, you just got a new student, or maybe the last couple of months of the school year and you got a new student. You can always add the student right here, and that's a very easy process. You just click add. You can decide if you want to import them from Google Classroom, if you want to upload in Excel, or if it's just 1 or 2 kids, you could also type their names in. So remember, we have lots of ways for you to load your students. You can use Clever, you can use Google Classroom, you can load all of them on an Excel sheet. If later on kids are added, That's easy, and you're not using Clever or Google Classroom. You can easily just put their name in. It'll auto-generate the username in the password unless you want something specific. Maybe you want them to use their lunch number. You're able to type that in if you would like that to be the case. So that's sort of how to manage the students on this page here. The one last thing I want to talk about is the classroom code. So if you don't want to have to put all of your students in individually, maybe like using an Excel document, what you can do, and this is better for older students, I would say 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, you're able to give them this class code, and they're able to create their login, create their account, and then they put in this class code and it links them to your class. So that's just another way for you to add students with you not having to necessarily individually type all of them in. Next, I want to go over some of these icons over on the side. I know we're getting close on time, so I'm going to try to work quickly so we have time for questions. The live feed, although you're not going to be able to see it in mine right now. Oh, you are able to see one student because I have Billy logged in. So I love the live feed. The live feed is great because you could use it, especially if you're remote, you're able to see what the kids are doing in real time. You're able to see how long they've been on, how many questions they've got right, what curriculum they're working on, what skill they're working on. You're able to see all of that in real time. So you don't have to try to figure out if they're working or if they're not working because you have that information. And normally you would have your whole class listed here. And then if you click the arrow, it gives you an even more detailed explanation of what the students are working on. So you're able to see here the question, what it looked like, the time they spent on the question, everything you would possibly want to know. So like I said, this is great for if you're doing remote teaching. It's also really great if you're in person and maybe you're at your desk and you're monitoring the students using the live feed and you see that Billy's struggling on something. So you're able to call him up and go over that question with him or go over a similar question, and you can fill in that gap right there. You don't have to wait till later on to find out if Billy was struggling and how you're going to be able to help him. This live feed lets you do that in real time, which I think is great. We already looked at the student icon. That's where you can add them, change the curriculum, things like that. If you want to look at the curriculum, you click here. This has all of the standards. Now we have lots of different kinds of standards. We have Common Core. We just added the TEKS from Texas if you want to see those. What I like a lot about this is that you're able to scroll through it and you're able to see it. You can see different grade levels. I think the best part is if you put your mouse over the skill, you're able to see an example of a question, which I think is huge. So you know what the kids are going to work on. Because I know sometimes we wonder if the skill that they're saying that they're working on is the actual skill they should be working on. So I think that that's huge. Assignments and then reports. So first we'll talk about assignments. It's very easy to create assignments. You can schedule them, so you could create all your assignments for the whole rest of the school year if you wanted. So you add a new assignment. Automatically, it's going to put the date as the name, but you can obviously change that. You can schedule it, like I said, where you say, you know what, we're doing fractions next week. When they get here on Monday, I want them to start working on a fractions assignment through the rest of the week, and then that's how long they have to work on it. So you're able to schedule it if that's what you would like to do. You can pick. Maybe Billy needs to work on that skill, but nobody else does. So Billy can have a special assignment just for him on the skills that he needs to work on. I know a lot of us have testing coming up. I think this is huge to fill in those gaps before they take a state test because you're able to work directly on what they're struggling on rather than trying to give them everything all over again. I'll pick Billy, but you can, of course, just click here and it'll do all of the students if you would like. And skill, so you're able to pick which skills you want. I'm going to pick 2 skills for them to work on. And then the parameters. So the parameters can either be by time. They either have to get it finished by a certain amount of time or how much time they spend on it, or just by the number of questions. You can decide if you want them to be random or in sequence. What that means is that if I have 2 different skills, do you want them to be mixed in together, or do you want them to be first work on this skill and then work on this skill? You get to decide how many questions there are, and of course, how many questions for each of the skills. So you have complete control over what this assignment is going to look like, which I think is very, very, very helpful. And like I said, you of course can schedule these ahead of time. They can be homework. We have quite a few teachers who send this for homework, because what I'm about to show you in the reports and at the beginning of the assignments tab is you're able to see how everybody did on it. So let's go back. I'm going to go back into assignments to look at the one I have. So here's the assignment. This was from last month, and start date, the parameters. I don't think, since it's a demo account, I don't think anyone really looked out on it. But what you'll see is that it's going to list out each student who did the assignment, and it's going to let you know how they did on it. Were they below 50%? They haven't started yet. So it's really easy to manage the assignments, to see where everybody's at, what they're doing. It doesn't become overwhelming to try to figure out, well, who started, who hasn't, how are they doing? It's color-coded to make it very easy for you. So that is the assignments. Again, guys, I know I'm moving really quick. I want to honor your time and only use these 30 minutes. I want to make sure if you have questions that you're asking them, so make sure you throw those in the chat. Finally, I want to talk about reports. So for our reports, here we'll show the progress, how they work on the overall skills. It'll pop up there. It'll have your individual students down at the bottom, which I think is helpful. My favorite report is the learning gaps report. We currently don't have any learning gaps because the kids haven't worked on it. But what the learning gaps report does is that it groups the kids by skill that they're struggling in. So if you have 6 kids on a certain skill that need help, you are able to see exactly how they did, where they're struggling, what skill they might be missing, which is causing them to struggle on it. And then you're able to, say, pull in a small group or take those 6 kids and give them another assignment over it after you do a reteach. So it tells you all the information that you need, and you don't have to worry about collecting that data because Boddle's going to be doing it for you. We, of course, have our usage, so you can see, how long the kids have been on it, how many questions, time spent on it, last logged in. This is all really good information. And then the timeline of, and this tells you everything: when they logged in, when they master a skill, when they start an assignment. All of that would be populating here. I don't have a lot on this demo account, but normally it's all populated. And then, so that's mostly the reports. I want to show you one thing. If you come over here and you click on this little alarm, that's how you set up the email notifications. So to do that, you can go and pick, if you want to know every time a kid masters a skill, you can get that daily in your email, or weekly, or never. Maybe that's not important to you. For the Learning Gaps report, you can get a daily email telling you where the kids are struggling. A weekly, you can get it immediately. If it picks up on a learning gap, you can get it immediately. And then, of course, how they're doing on their assignments, if they've completed them or not. So the best part about this is, not only is this helpful for you guys, but if your parents link their account to the student, they're able to sign up for these and get all of these as well, which I think is huge and very helpful. So you don't have to tell them, where are they struggling? Well, they receive a daily email that tells them what skills they're struggling on. So I think that's great. That is a very fast and furious overview of everything. I know Edna's been handling the questions. Edna, is there anything else you want to add?
I did see Patrick had a great question on, can we see what the Learning Gaps report looks like? We do have one demo account. Nick, I'm not sure if you have access to that one.
I do, so I'm gonna log into it really fast. If anyone wants to, I know we're hitting 4:30. If anyone wants to hang out, I'll pull up the other demo account so you're able to see that.
Yes.
So let me work on that.
And while he's pulling that up, thank you guys again for spending time with us. We're super excited, to provide this to educators at no cost. And we want to keep it that way too. So would love, your support in sharing Boddle with as many teachers in your network that you know as well, and on social media. It really does help. Along with that too, we do have updates that are going to be coming soon and that we'll be sharing via email. So, watch out for emails from Nick at boddlelearning.com. And then I'm sure some of you know, I know Sarah, you've reached out via the live chat on our website, but we love hearing from you and helping you out if there's any issues. So if you go on boddlelearning.com, on the bottom right, there's a little pop-up, like we are real people. We get it on our phones. It's not, automated robot response. And so we want to be here to support you as much as we can.
I'm almost there. I'm pulling that up for people who are hanging out to see that. We also have tons of support videos on our website. So if you don't want to reach out, but you're wondering maybe how to create an assignment, because I went through it pretty quickly, we have videos that cover every single thing possible so that you're able to get help if you need to do anything, add an assignment, how to link a parent account. We have videos on how to do that. Just whatever you guys need help on, there's also videos available on the website. Give me 2 seconds. I'm logging in. Sorry about that, guys.
And I have it pulled up as well, Nick, if you want me to.
I am just about there.
Perfect.
Okay, let me share my screen again. And okay, here's another account. I'm going to go into a classroom. When I click on reports and learning gaps, here you go. So it looks like this. This is another demo account, but if you look here, here's the skill. This is the student that currently has a learning gap because of that skill. So you can see their performance, how much time they spend on each question, which I think is huge because we never know if kids are rushing through it or not. How much overall time did they spend on that skill? And then this is the skill that maybe they're struggling with. This is a 5th grader, but this might be the 4th grade skill that they don't have. So that's why they're not able to master this skill. So it's a ton of really good information.
That's awesome. I've actually got another demo account, if you let me share the screen, that helps to show it in relation to multiple students with the same learning gap.
Okay, let me.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Everyone, please ignore all the tabs. I have a tab problem. It's so hard to close out, but this right here, this demo account, this helps to show you, if you have multiple students, let's say with the same skill that they might be having an issue with, but for different reasons. So with this demo account, like Aaron is, struggling with adding within 1,000 this 3rd grade skill, but it's adjusted down to the 1st grade, the foundational skill of missing whole numbers. Whereas Harley, the same skill, but it's adapted it down to another 3rd grade skill. So then it helps as well because, you have, a lot of students in your class who might be working on a certain skill, but have different areas that they need to pay attention to. So it helps when you want to put them in different learning stations as well. Awesome. I'll go ahead and stop sharing and you can take back over, Nick.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Let's see. Let me see. So with the gaps.
Yes. So Rachel's saying, so with the gaps, I don't need to change the curriculum level. The game will auto adjust to what they need for that skill. That is correct. Yes. But then we also add the assignments feature if you do want to go in there and say, okay, you know what, I want them to specifically work on, certain skills. Does it take a long time for students to log in each time? That is the major complaint. Super glad that you brought that up, actually. So what we have seen is, and we've worked with teachers, also let us know if you're in person or remote. So some teachers who are in person, it is actually a whitelisting issue, which means that the school's network is blocking Boddle. So what we've done usually is work with the IT department to say, hey, could you unblock the site for your teachers and students? And they've been really, helpful and an easy process to go through with them. You said all remote, which is definitely something we'd want to take a look at. Let us know what devices they're using as well. Hopefully it's not iPads. If it's iPads, it's easier to diagnose because we're not accessible on the web on iPads. You'd have to download the app, but let us know what devices you're using. That'll help us kind of get to the bottom of the issue there.
I'm going to answer Sarah's question really quickly.
Yes.
Sarah, it automatically gives them the assignment. So if you've assigned the assignment, or maybe you've scheduled it to start on Monday and Monday rolls around, when they go to play the game, it's going to automatically put them into the assignment. So the assignment takes priority over the normal curriculum that they're going through. So you're able to assign it, which is great because it can align to whatever you're teaching that week, which is wonderful.
Yes. And I see you are using iPads. Yes, we are working so hard to try and get a web version accessible for iPads. We were super excited when we got the app, but then we realized there's a lot of teachers who need tons of permissions in order to download apps on their school devices. So yeah, we are trying to work really hard to get that web access on iPad.
And it is definitely past 4:30, guys. Feel free to check out. If you have more questions, we can hang out. Make sure to throw them into the chat, and we'll keep answering them. Oh, that's so nice. That's awesome to hear that the kids like it, the ones that are able to log in. We love to hear that. Anytime your kids are loving it and give you good feedback, we like to hear that too. So feel free to reach out and let us know. Yes, I love the live feed too. I think that's huge. Being remote, or even when you go back in person, that you're able to be in one place and see what every kid is doing on their computer. I think that's going to really stop a lot of them from getting off task because they're going to figure out pretty fast that you know exactly what they're working on. Awesome. Thank you for sharing with your colleagues.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. We know that you are so busy and teaching is just very, very busy. And so thanks for spending your time with us as well. Glad we're able to show you a little bit more of, the resource that is available to you through Boddle.
And like we said, if you have any questions, reach out to us through the website on the chat. You can always email me at nick@boddlelearning.com, and I'll get back to you and answer any questions you have there as well.